Okay, the things that I think and the things that I feel are all a part of my manifestation practice and progress. And so I know that you probably, if you have done any research around this, have heard like, careful what you think, careful what you say out loud, careful what you feel for too long. And I do think that that's true. I think that there's a way that it can kind of become victim blamey in a way, or depending on the context or who's saying it to you. Like if it's someone with like a lot more privilege and access than you telling you that you need to stop thinking about how poor you are, then, maybe take that with a grain of salt because they may not understand the ongoing trauma of living in poverty, right? And so they may not understand what it means for you to get out of that thought loop as opposed to them getting out of that thought loop. It's a much different path with a much different geography, right? So don't use those manifestation suggestions as a way to punish yourself, right? It's really important that when you're in the process of manifesting, in my opinion, you try to really remain in the energy of gratitude and the energy of joy. Try to remember that, if you're the kind of person that believes that your soul came here for a purpose, really keep a laser focus on the feelings of that purpose in your body, right? So that's a little manifestation thoughts from my perspective. That's just kind of the context. I do think that it's not only impossible, but harmful to try to manifest people, quote unquote, like, oh, I'm trying to manifest this guy that I like. Oh, I'm trying to manifest my, friend to do this. And all of those things really poorly interact with the concept of free will that each of us has. So you can't really manifest a person. I would also be careful around like trying to manifest behaviors and circumstances that would really affect other people, just because the likelihood of you hitting your target when you have people standing in the way is very low. So I recommend when you're trying to do manifestation work to try to point your arrow somewhere where there's not a lot of people standing in the way, right? Because if you have to have other people making certain decisions in order for you to get what you want, it's going to take a lot longer and be a lot more complicated for you to actually achieve that desire. So you can't really manifest people. You can't really manifest people doing stuff. You can manifest energies. You can manifest things happening around you. I really try to communicate with nature in circumstances like this because I have found that things like sunlight and grass and animal sightings, they really, those synchronicities are so valuable to me knowing that I'm on the right path. And interacting with nature in my manifestation process is kind of continuing the cycle of me being grateful to be on earth so that I can stay grounded in that gratitude energy and really feel that I deserve what it is that I'm asking for. Not that I recommend, a feeling of entitlement, but in order to get what you want, you have to believe you deserve it. Because if you don't feel like you deserve it, then you'll reject all of the, offers that the universe provides for you. You won't even recognize that they're leading you along your path towards, achieving your goal. So, what do you do in order to make that process happen with your orgasm? So, in the interest of accessibility, I will just say that in order to do orgasm magic, you actually don't have to have an orgasm. You can very easily imagine an orgasm. And as you practice the imagination of the orgasm, you may even start to develop a practice around summoning things that, we wouldn't traditionally call an orgasm, but that are an orgasm for you. So if you're in a place right now where you can't really come, or you're in a physical circumstance where orgasms really aren't possible for you, I really recommend diving more into the energy work side of magic and playing with energy work and imagination. And I'm going to do a whole nother episode about that for sure. But I just want to say that while I'm talking about this, so you understand that if orgasms aren't exactly possible for you in the way that, we might see orgasms around us in media or in partner sex, that there is a kind of energetic magical orgasm that is possible for you. So you have the ability, and I empower you to find whatever that is. And the orgasm itself is a phenomenon in the body that can create a lot of tension as well. So when you're doing sex magic, I really recommend trying to relax as much as you can. This is why it's another great reason to practice solo. Maybe when you're coming out of meditation or after you've done some kind of slow movement or dancing. If you feel safe to do this kind of stuff in the bathtub, which is often when you may have the most privacy, if you're someone with children or that's cohabitating with people, really try to relax your body, move very slowly toward orgasm. I know that some of the manifestation things that you see are saying, like, hold the image and hold the idea of the thing that you want to manifest in your mind at the moment of climax. And I would go even further because I practice sex magic all the time. It's my favorite way to do witchcraft. When I am thinking about the thing that I'm trying to manifest, I have an ongoing, like, fling with that thing. I am daydreaming about it. I am thinking about it all the time. I get it to a point where I'm masturbating to it so much that even just thinking about the thing that I'm trying to manifest is turning me on, right? And wherever I am. It's like having a hot new partner that you're really excited about who's like super into what you're into and like sexting you all the time. That's what the thing that I'm manifesting becomes to me. And that's a whole manifestation process. We can definitely talk about how to cultivate that kind of energy. But I say all that so that you know that when I'm getting to the point where I am actually masturbating and about to climax, I have been really preparing my body for this climactic moment. And I'm about to have an intense emotional and embodied experience with this thing that I'm manifesting. Kind of like when you're with a partner and y'all manage to climax together, if that's ever happened for you. Sometimes it can be really emotionally sensational and intense and romantic or hot or dirty or whatever it is that you're into. And you get to kind of decide your flavor. So I have a Scorpio moon and a Scorpio Venus. So I really love this kind of like sensual, romantic relationship with my body. I use a rose quartz wand that I can insert that helps me process like healing in my genital area. Because a lot of the blockages that we have to manifestation in sex magic are like trauma and things that need healing. So if you have crystals that are good for healing, definitely insert crystals inside of yourself at your own risk. I'm not a doctor. I cannot ethically recommend that you do that. I do it because I love it. And I'm also like here for a good time, not a long time kind of situation. And you also can just put crystals kind of around you. And we'll talk about more later how to use crystals in your sex magic practice. But just remember to kind of keep a component of healing with you on your manifestation journey, because in the same way that you want to have like a positive sex life that does more good than harm, you also want to have a positive ritualistic sex life that does more good than harm. So don't forget that there are places that need healing, because when you're on your manifestation journey, that shit will come back, a little bit down the road to kind of help you process some of those things. And it'll just be good to have that self-compassion energy as you traverse that, to the destination. And so in this relationship with the thing that you're manifesting, do it in a way that feels really hot and powerful for you, a way that's going to give you a really good orgasm, the kind of orgasm that you like and that you want, which could be with toys, it could be without, it could be in public, it could be in a certain room, it could be on a camping trip, it could be in the shower, in the bath, in the closet. It could be whatever is really spicy and exciting for you. Or it can just be whenever, like you wake up early one morning and you're like, I'm going to masturbate to my intention today, and I'm going to come and I'm going to think about it. Also valid. There are so many different ways to practice. So whatever feels good for you. And when you are reaching the moment of climax, you can assign your manifestation that you're trying to cultivate like a symbol that you have in your head. So if you're trying to manifest money, you can imagine a stack of money. If you're trying to manifest security, you can imagine things that really scream security to you. So, like, you can imagine being covered by a weighted blanket, or held by a tree. You can, if you're trying to cultivate more grounding in your life and be a little more grounded and make good grounded decisions, then you can imagine sinking into the earth as you're orgasming. Really get creative with the way that you want to symbolize it to yourself, because for some people, words are enough, right? For some people, the words, I want to experience abundance and security in my life. I am going to experience abundance and security in my life. Some people can just think that in their head while they come, and that's enough for them to communicate it to their subconscious and to the universe. For others, the image or the sensations also existing in the imagination can not only really elevate the experience, but also increase the likelihood that it's impactful. So let's talk about what I just said. When we are doing any kind of spell work, we are communicating with something. Depending on how you feel about spirituality and what your situation is, you may be communicating with your subconscious. You may be communicating with God, or God by any name in your experience. You could be communicating with demons if that's what you're into. But what you're doing is you're creating a ritual, which is an expression of your devotion. And whatever you're choosing to devote that to, I know that it's really safe for people to just kind of devote it to their own psychology and say, this is imprinting onto my subconscious, my true desire. Because our subconscious mind and our conscious mind are living in very different places. Even if you're not woo-woo, we can all agree that they're not always on the same page, right? So that's one way to look at it. You can also think of yourself sending a beacon into the universe, saying like, hey, look at this desire. Look how powerful it is. I am using my divine creation energy of an orgasm to cultivate this. And so that spotlight and that beam and that flare that you're sending into the universe is drawing energy towards you so that you can achieve that, right? It's really putting the energy on your side by creating this, environment of energy around you. So those are some thoughts about manifesting with the orgasm. I really look forward to discussing this further because there's so much more to unpack, even more than the little teasers that I've kind of dropped along the way. So I really appreciate all of the people that are on the other side of this virtual interaction. I really thank you for joining me in this space. I feel totally lit up and just really grateful for the opportunity to be able to share this part of my practice. All right, I'll send you off with a little bell, okay?